Everyone's levels looking okay.
I think so.
Today.
Everyone's at a 5.
Oh shit! I broke this pen.
Oh my.
Wow.
I just broke
Why
it.
do you
I was
got
so strong.
Are you
This is why we
Hercules?
can't have nice
I was so
things, Andy.
strong.
Should I have brought some writing utensils?
If you
No,
want to
you
write
just-
something,
Only
you can.
dorks write stuff down.
Good to know.
That's why I write everything down.
No, he means darks.
Darks.
Phoenix.
Phoenix.
Darks.
Darks.
Dark's Phoenix Saga?
You guys will get it later.
Later on, when we watch
Is that part of this
Mystery
film?
Men,
It is
Oh.
part of this film.
I have a
Good anecdote.
good anecdote about
All right.
about the
Okay.
Phoenix Dark Dirk.
Should we jump into it?
Let's do it. My name is Bradley Jones,
I'm Andrew Moldenhauer.
I'm Andy Hubert.
and second-time guest.
James Phillips.
And this is not a movie review podcast, but a podcast where we try to remember what happened in film we haven't seen in a very, very long time. This is what we remember about Mystery Men.
Were there 2 or 3 bad guys in Home Alone? And who was that forgetful fish in Finding Nemo? Join us as we're watching films. See what we remember and what memories we kill. Let's start the show. Here we go. This is what we remember.
So, James, why did you pick Mystery Men for us to watch?
This movie is so good. I love this movie to the very bottom of my heart. It has a lot of great themes that I feel like we are going to really deep dive into,
Dig into them.
really explore.
Just get in there and just shake it around.
Just,
Tell us those themes.
What's the big theme about the Mystery Men?
I would say friendship,
Ooh.
togetherness, working as a team, trusting in your team.
I'm pretty sure they're against each other like the whole film. Like they're almost always at each other's throats and whatnot.
I mean, definitely some
But
enemies.
that's what they learned.
Yeah.
Some enemies become friends.
Okay, let's just go over the cast for a second. We have Ben Stiller as Mr. Furious, right?
Ooh, yeah, I put the Rager.
I mean, that's basically what it
You're
does.
gonna have a Rager
That's
by
a
the time
much better name.
this is over. William H. Macy, is he the plunger?
He is the shoveler.
The shoveler.
The shoveler.
He shovels well.
He shovels real well. Okay, Hank Azaria is the Blue Raj.
The Blue Raja.
Blue
Oh, yeah,
Raja.
that's right, that is
And he
Frank Azaria.
throws forks or something.
Yeah, he
That's his
throws
superpower?
cutlery, mostly forks.
Does he bend them at all? Ever? Like Uri
Does he have
Geller?
psychic powers?
I don't think he has any psychic powers. I
Okay.
think he can just throw cutlery, but not knives. He doesn't throw knives.
Why is that?
It's. I think he's afraid of them or something. They're too sharp or too dangerous.
I think they're too
Okay.
dangerous.
Could be.
And then we have Paul Rubens. I just have him as like smelly guy.
He's the spleen.
Oh, the spleen. He just farts really bad.
He's got bad acne too.
Yeah, he's wet
does.
all the time.
He does.
Yeah, it's like greasy.
He's snotty.
Because
He's a grease ball.
His origin story is that he farted in front of a group of people and was very embarrassed by it, and so he blamed it on a passing gypsy woman,
Ooh.
And they cursed him.
and she cursed him since he had dealt it, he shall be forever deal it again. It's there. It's there.
rhyme.
He shall
It's there.
forever dealt it.
The sentence there is there.
It's theirs.
All right, I don't know Kel's last name. I forget that, but he plays
Mitchell.
like Kel Mitchell, the Invisible Boy.
Yeah,
Is that his name?
that is. But
But he's only invisible when you're not looking at him.
And he has to be naked.
Oh, he has to strip.
and if he looks at himself, he turns visible again.
Yeah, like no one,
Look in the
including
mirror.
himself, can be looking
Or if he
at
looks
him.
down and sees his feet, he becomes visible
Yeah,
again.
yeah.
Janine Garofalo.
Garofol.
Is she just the bowler?
Yes, she is the bowler.
Okay.
And
She's got like a bowling. Okay, there's like a face in the bowling ball too.
there's
and
a skull.
it's like her granddad.
Oh, it's like,
It's
yeah,
her
her
dad.
dad's soul is like in the ball or something.
Yeah, it's her dad, Carmine, the bowler.
wow.
And
It should be said. I watched this film not even that long ago with James, and I still don't remember any of this.
I was there too, and I watched like maybe 20 minutes of it.
is it the same bowling balls in Kingpin? Does anyone heard that?
We need to
Wait, there's a
fact
skull
out.
in. There's a skull bowling ball in Kingdom.
Yeah, Bill Murray has a skull.
It's important to find this out. We need to find these cross-movie connections.
That is a great question that I'd love to know the answer
Okay.
to.
Okay, Greg Kinnear. I have him as like Mr. Awesome.
He's Captain
Amazing.
Captain
Captain Amazing
Captain
Man.
Amazing. So
Amazing.
And he is like sponsored all over his Captain Amazing outfit.
Yes,
and he's
that's
like the
true.
only real powered superpower
I
guy.
honestly, I think he doesn't have any superpowers. He's just got like a super suit, and he's kind of like
I thought he was strong.
He's like a Batman.
He's like half Batman, half Superman, but Superman without the powers, just like a super suit.
I got a serious question though.
Here we go.
Do any of these people actually have superpowers?
You sort of have to kind of
Yes.
figure that out
Kel
throughout
Mitchell,
the movie.
Kel Mitchell for sure does.
Yeah.
Invisible Boy.
Yes, he does.
And it comes into play.
Although no one believes him because no one can verify that he has this power.
Okay.
Because no one can look at him while he's invisible, so everyone just has to assume he's invisible.
You kind of have to believe.
You just say, yeah, you really have to believe.
I do believe Janine Garofalo's bowling ball is like special. It can like home in. It does have the
It's-
power
yes,
of his
it's
dad
sentient.
inside
That
of it,
is
yeah.
for yeah. Sure.
Ooh.
Or haunted, I guess. Maybe it's haunted.
There's gonna be some POV shots of this bowling ball flying around and hitting
Yeah.
people in the head.
Yes.
And then we have Jeffrey Rush as Casanova Frankenstein.
One of the best villains. He is such a... I don't know how much farther this list goes.
That's as far as I've got. As
Oh,
far
you-
as people in the film.
Well,
like
then
main
let
people.
me add one more who also plays a fantastic villain, and that is Mr. Eddie Izzard.
Oh yes.
Is in this.
Is he a sidekick? to
He's the
something?
sidekick to the villain, right?
Yeah, he plays one of the Tonys. There's Tony P and Tony T, and I don't remember which Tony he is. But he plays a great villain.
And the villain rides around in a limo the entire time, right?
Yeah. Well,
Well, so does Captain Fantastic. He's always traveling in a limo.
Captain Amazing.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Thank you.
And there's also some sort of like Native American trainer mentor guy.
That guy
like, whose
is,
actor I do not know.
I don't know that actor either, but his character is the Sphinx.
The Sphinx.
And he's terribly mysterious.
Okay, let's jump to the very beginning of the movie.
Somebody once told me the world is gonna roll me.
Okay,
I'm sure that's on place. We're in the
I
credits.
would like to just take
Beginning and the
an
end.
aside to talk about how many movies in the like 90s and 2000s, whatever Smash Mouth came out
And
with that,
Toto.
how many use that song.
I'd say all of them.
Yeah,
It's a lot.
All of them.
I was watching Rat Race the other day, and which you guys totally
First of
should
all,
do.
why were you watching Rat Race?
I had such fond
let's
memories.
tackle that one.
I
for
do
a
think we
second.
need to do that.
You
That needs
guys,
to
you
go on
guys
our list.
absolutely need to do it. I had such fond memories of
We'll add
Race.
Rat Race to the list.
Oh no!
I
yes,
yeah,
we will,
I-
Brad.
Please
It's
not.
happening.
This is not about Rat Race, but I just want to get into it. The spoiler alert for Rat Race. If you guys do this, the end of that movie, they like crash a Smash Mouth concert.
Oh, spoiler alert.
I said spoiler.
Wow.
alert.
Okay,
You could have turned this off. And they play that song, but it's like I can think of at least a few movies that use the Smash Mouth song. What is
Oh, yeah.
What is the deal with the Smash Mouth song? Was it that big
It
back
was
in the day?
so
It was huge,
big back
man.
in the day.
Everyone knew that song.
Yeah, it was the thing.
Yeah, it was.
It's the best way
it was
to like
too big.
tell when your movie takes
It's
place.
too big to fail.
Additionally, the music video featured the Mystery Men.
Did it?
Yeah.
Oh
don't
wow.
remember
Okay, so
that.
it was
Smash
like
Mouth
for
music
this
video.
movie
Serious
at that
movie
point.
tie-in.
Yeah. It starts with like some sort of fight, like a big fight,
Is
or like
is
a criminal. There's people like trying to steal something, and like Greg or like, the Mystery Men stop him, but then like Greg Kinnear comes in and takes all the credit,
So
something like that.
I don't know what the best format for this because like I know this movie. I don't want to like I think it's more fun for you guys to
You
guess.
correct us if we're wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So there's some sort of heist, and there's a generic
robbing a
bad
bank,
guy
right?
robbing. I thought it was like a
it's-
museum party.
Yeah, it's sort of like it's some sort of gala. Like it's a lot of people in like a big ballroom sitting at tables. I feel like
it's
Uh-huh.
like an old people party.
yes.
Like,
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
at like
Everyone's in tuxedos and gowns and-
it's like if you could take a prom and take everyone at the prom and age them up 60 years.
Is this at a senior citizen home or something?
I think
like
so.
It might be.
I think it is.
And who's like someone's robbing it?
Yeah, so these guys, they're called the Red Eyes. They're like a group of villains or whatever, led by Artie Lang.
Okay.
What? Why? Why did he get work for this
He
film?
needed a job real bad.
He had some time off from Howard Stern's show
So,
and nothing else.
the Mystery Men break on the scene, and they sort of stop the robbery from happening.
They
so
try.
the Mystery Men already exist?
So at this point, it's just Ben Stiller,
Mr. Furious, the
the
shoveler,
the Shoveler, William H. Macy,
Blue Raj,
and Blue Raja.
Yes, it's the three of them.
It's just they're a crime-fighting trio.
Okay.
You don't really hear much
amateur
about
crime fighting.
Yeah,
trio.
amateur. They're terrible.
They're very bad.
Get totally destroyed by the Red Eyes.
And so
Yeah.
Is Greg Kinnear like another villain or another superhero just on his own?
Yes.
He's
He
like
gets
yeah.
a lot of recognition.
He's like the
as a
real
Yeah.
hero?
superhero.
Yes.
And they're trying to live up to him or be as good as he is.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
But he's really cocky and like he's almost tired of being a superhero. That's like his kind of.
Yeah. He's
Start
kind
at
of
the
bored
beginning.
with it, it seems like, or not so much bored, but he did kind of sell
It's
out.
not challenging anymore.
Yeah,
to
and
him.
he's very stuck up about it. Like he's just like, ugh, you guys are dumb.
So he ends up beating up the Red Eyes, I would guess, and then like news reporters come and like he gets all the credit, and the Mystery Men are in the background, like we sort of helped.
Probably
we
having
sorta did a thing.
goofy things making them look even sillier
Yeah.
on TV.
Mr. Furious doing something very furious.
Yeah.
Then Greg Kinnear is in the limo, and he's talking about how it's just too easy. He's too easy being a superhero. So he gets a plan to break out his like greatest nemesis of all time, just like to free him. Like he wants them to let
Is
him
it that
go.
he's bored, or it's that he's not interesting anymore, so sponsors are leaving him?
So that's actually what it is.
Okay.
So
Ah.
after he beats up the Red Eyes, he's walking to his limo and he's getting interviewed by all the press, and one of the press people is like, "Oh, how do you feel about losing the Pepsi sponsorship or something like that?" And he's like,
I didn't know I
I
lost
didn't
it.
know about that," and is very upset. And so he gets in his limo and he's got like a agent or manager or
Yeah.
whatever, and that's how they start talking about like having the big giant battles that are going to attract sponsors.
Okay.
Okay. So that's when he decides to break out Jeffrey Rush.
Yes.
Yeah.
What's his name again?
Casanova Frankenstein.
Okay.
And so it kind of cuts to this like very scraggly looking Jeffrey Rush character. Think Marquis de Sade, like when he was Marquis de Sade, very similar.
But a disco version.
A
He
disco
really
Marquis
loved
de
disco.
Sade. He channeled that love to disco, and he's sitting like at a parole hearing. He's in like an insane asylum.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and there's a little parole hearing going on, and he's like giving this big speech about how he's so sorry, and the people who are on the panel are like, "Oh, you are clearly insane, and there's no way we can let you out." Mm-hmm. And then Greg Kinnear shows up as normal Greg Kinnear, like the
Clark Kent version.
yeah, the
of
Bruce
Yeah.
Wayne, which I don't remember his name.
Batman.
Batman.
There it is.
Batman. He shows up as Batman,
John Batman.
John Batman.
and like
And he's just wearing glasses, just like the Clark Kent thing. That's why I associate that, I guess, more because he just has glasses on.
they actually make a reference to that later on when the Mr. Furious is like, they're the same guy. It's like, and everyone's like,
Yeah,
you're crazy.
He's like,
Yeah,
how does
no
no
one
one else
believes-
see this?
Yeah, but he's like, no, this person is not. It can't be the same
It's
person.
like the one guy wears glasses, the other guy doesn't. How would he see?
It's a valid question.
It is.
Yeah.
So the Mystery Men sort of just have this hangout at a diner,
Yeah.
some
it's-
like sleazy diner where they meet up and just have.
It looks like a bus almost, or something like that, or it's like silver, or something like the entire outside.
Yeah, kind of like an old Airstream
Yeah.
thing. What are
Yeah,
those things
the
called?
trailers.
Yeah.
But like, Ben Stiller is like interested in one of the waitresses there at the
Yes.
diner.
Sure.
Yeah.
And he
he
asked
like-
her out on a date.
Yeah, I think so. And she kind of shoots him down. Maybe.
Okay. I just
That's
know
my guess.
that like that's where like the Raj and the smelly man, I forgot his name already, Paul Rubens.
This is much later.
Oh, that happens later.
Yeah, they're not even Mystery Men yet. That's like
Oh.
Act 2.
Oh, really?
Huh.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's still just the three from the beginning.
I know. So it's the three of them. After this thing happens, they're like sitting in the diner and basically like all feeling down about themselves because they did terrible.
Okay, so I guess this happens after they kill, spoiler, Greg Kinnear, then.
What?
No, that's like
This,
Act 3.
this happens in the beginning of the film.
Well,
almost.
yeah, that kind of is what
The first time Casanova Frankenstein gets loose,
they.
he captures Greg Kinnear.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's kind of like the beginning of Act 2 is Casanova Frankenstein gets out, he gets his-
So Greg Kinnear helps him escape,
yes,
or does he?
he gets him paroled.
Oh, he
yeah.
gets him paroled. Okay, yes, yeah.
He's already did the Clark Kent thing.
Right.
Yeah, he
that's
did the
right.
So what
Clark
do you
Kent
do?
thing.
Like represent him as like a?
Well, he isn't. Is he
We
like?
literally just went over this.
Is he like the head prosecutor
No,
or
no, we
something?
didn't go
He's
over
just a
this.
guy.
So-
He's
oh,
like
okay.
a like a wealthy
Yeah, I know he's supposed to be
businessman.
like a Bruce Wayne type character,
is,
so
like-
he's like a billionaire guy and
Bon
like
vivant.
philanthropist and
Yeah.
yeah.
And so he just shows up and he's like, I was just having dinner with my good friend Captain Amazing.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And he's like he wanted me to read this letter. He brings out the letter, but it's just like a grocery list, and he's like says whatever, and then
Okay.
to get him
you know,
released.
to
yeah.
get him released. And
Okay.
That's how he gets out.
We
They're
didn't
like,
go over
well,
that part.
if Captain Amazing says it's okay, then yes, we'll let him go. And so Jeffrey Rush gets out. He gets his old crew back together, and then Jeffrey Rush is very smart. Like he knows what is going on, and so he kind of plants a trap for Greg Kinnear when Greg Kinnear shows up, and like captures him. And Mr. Furious, after they're sitting at the diner, and he's like, oh, like let's go out and fight some crime or do something because we just had this big loss and we want to. I want to go do something, and everyone else is like, no, I'm going home. I got kids and stuff, and
Yeah.
they go home, and he's like, goes off on his own and is outside of Greg Kinnear's place and sees Jeffrey Rush's castle, and sees Captain Amazing go in and not come back out. And so he knows that something's going on, and that's how we kind of kick off Act 2.
Okay. And Greg Kinnear has a home life, right? He's has a wife that he goes to.
William H. Macy.
William H. Macy, yeah.
William H.
William
Macy.
H. Macy does, yeah. And
The
he is-
shoveler.
oh, yep. The shoveler. He's got a wife, and she's kind of like keeps urging him to give it up.
Yeah.
He's like, you
But
got.
God gave him a gift to shovel.
That's right.
Shovel.
That's right.
He shovels
He,
well.
he didn't choose to have this power.
He's got a responsibility to use it for good.
But I don't think the Blue Raj does, right? Or does he go off and do anything?
He
on
lives
his
with
own?
his
He lives with his
mother.
mom.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, because he keeps stealing her silverware.
Yeah.
Right. That's right.
And, yeah, near the end of the movie, she like, gives him, like, a nice set or something
Yes,
like
this
that.
is one of the themes is acceptance.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I mean, we're jumping ahead a little bit to kind
That's
of
fine.
like I don't know what you call it in like the gearing up for battle scene. Like everyone kind of goes, and when they finally get all together, they're ready to storm the castle.
It's kind of like a montage of like prepping, I guess. or-
Kind of. It's just like little vignettes of everybody kind of like saying goodbye to their loved ones or whatever.
Okay.
The Blue Raja, his mom kind of like he goes up and he's like, "Look, Mom, I'm a superhero. All right, this is what's going on," and she's like, "Do you need more silverware?" And like gives him a good set. And it's like,
Really
it's like
nice
you're my son, I love you, and I'm like, oh, tear,
support
one
you.
single
There you
tear.
go.
So they're going to break into Casanova Frankenstein's castle and try to help Captain Amazing, right?
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
gonna try to
they-
rescue Captain.
yeah,
America.
But,
They're trying
but
to
then they
rescue
find him, like, strapped to a chair. Do we see him actually have
this
lost
is-
before,
we,
too?
we need to go back a little bit.
Okay.
Because this is where the big meet happens, where they figure out they need to form a superhero team.
Yeah,
Oh,
because they
really?
they try to the three
I
of
thought
them
that happens after
the
they
three
fall.
of them try to storm the place
Yeah.
and get beaten horribly
Yeah, badly.
by
Okay.
by the people.
Just the guard. There's, like,
yeah,
regular
well,
guards.
there's Eddie Izzard's character,
The
and-
Disco Boys or
yeah,
whatever.
the Disco Boys. And so they're like, okay, we need more people, and
Okay.
that's when they put out the call.
And they have a big tryout, like open tryouts for being a superhero.
Right. Dane Cook shows up
Yep.
with the waffle iron.
He's the waffler.
Probably a few other people that I don't know or maybe would recognize if I saw him.
Yeah, it's probably a couple cameos at least in there.
But the one that actually has the power is Janine Garofalo.
Yes.
She's actually has.
And she
that
like
can
kind of
help them.
shows up late, and they like Ben Stiller doesn't want to let her into the team.
Mm-hmm.
Is that okay?
Because he feels threatened.
Oh, okay, yeah. Because she has like a real power.
yeah,
so, basically.
she's legitimately a superhero.
Yeah.
So
Do would they also just accept Paul Rubens and Kel at that point
So,
too?
so
or-
they actually go to Kel first. And
Because-
they're-
yeah, they
because
visit him
because he has
heard-
money or something?
They'd heard about him. They're like,
Oh.
oh, there's a kid. Like, because they'd gone to a couple other places, and then
I thought they use him for something.
yeah, well, I mean, kind of, I guess.
That's
He-
like he
he's-
had like a trust fund or something like that they needed.
I don't
or-
think that's.
I don't
the
think
case.
that's part of it. But he kind of like, he's like, oh, if you want to do tryouts, just like bring a keg and people will show up, and like
That's what
that's how like the montage of all the people coming in, and
Yeah.
Janine Garofalo eventually shows up. And actually, they're sitting in the diner talking with Kel, which is how Paul Rubens overhears, and he's like, "Oh, I hear you're starting a group." It's like, and then
Oh yes, and he like weasels his way in.
yeah,
So then they hold the tryouts, and they essentially agree upon the team afterwards, after all these terrible wannabe superheroes come through and do terrible things.
Is this when Smash Mouth plays?
Does someone come up with the name of the group? Does that happen?
That's
And
at
they're
the
like,
very end of the
oh,
movie.
what should we call ourselves? And they find like a question mark or something.
They're trying to figure out their name the whole movie.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, that is a reoccurring joke.
Yeah.
Almost. But so they all get together, and do they like train for a second, or is that when they go to
That's when they
No,
go
they
to
go
the
to kill
Indian guy.
Sphinx?
No, Gary Kinnear dies before that happens. Because that like puts them on their quest to finally come back and fight Casanova Frankenstein at the very end of the film.
No, 'cause I thought the second time they go back is like the final go back, and like Greg Kinnear gets vaporized during the final fight. Like they get to him and try to rescue him, and then he gets vaporized, and then they have to beat Casanova Frankenstein on their own. Whereas the plan had been to free.
I could have sworn this happens pretty early in the film. Because it was like a surprise, like, oh, they killed Greg Kinnear. Now the stakes are pretty high. Like any character can die now.
That
Like,
might
was
be
unexpected.
correct.
That might be.
That might be correct.
Because they're trying to like disarm the ray gun or the bomb, and
Right.
like, Captain Awesome keeps like telling him two different things, and like
Yes.
they ended up going with
So
one
yeah,
of the things.
that's where there's they like get to him, and he's strapped into a chair with like this laser gun pointed at him, and the control panel for this chair is absurdly complex. But yeah, Greg Kinnear explains, he's like, "Don't worry, I saw how they got me into this. I can walk you through getting me out." Like the second instruction or whatever is to flip a toggle switch, and then he starts to give the next instruction, and they ask for clarification, and he says, "No, flip the toggle switch again." And so they flip it, and then there's a big confusion about it, which leads to a really good line of Ben Stiller's where he asks,
It's Janine Garofalo
Oh,
says it.
yeah.
She says, how many toggle flip? Oh no, it is Ben
It is Ben
Stiller.
Stiller.
How many toggle flips in Toto?
where they're supposed to be, and he just yells at them. He's like, "Just do this."
I just told you, flip the second toggle.
Again?
What do you mean?
Flip the toggle twice?
No, don't do that. Just flip it again, now, one time. Flip it.
Does he understand what I'm asking?
Hold on a second. Captain, exactly how many toggle flips in Toto are involved in this entire procedure?
It's 7.
7?
Flip it!
Yeah. And so
And-
they flip the switch and it kills him. It's a psychofraculator.
Ah, so
Throw
yeah,
that
it
one
just
out there.
so instead of freeing him, it just vaporizes him, and he is dead.
Yeah, it's great, and it's great, and they feel real bad.
Yes, they do.
They killed Captain Amazing or whatever.
And I think now's a good time. If we go back to the opening scene, there's a special cameo in this by none other than Tom Waits.
Ooh,
I can't wait to see that cameo.
You can't wait.
I love me some Tom Waits.
And he plays a character that they end up going to. They meet him in the first scene, and he kind of is like, "Here's my card." And then later on, when they're looking for some weapons, some firepower, because they know
Oh,
they need
that's right,
something
yes.
to, Captain Amazing's dead. They need something to give them an advantage when they're storming this castle. And so they go to Tom Waits, and he only makes non-lethal weapons.
Yeah, he's sort
Yeah,
of like this
just
mad
really
scientist
goofy
type of
things.
character.
Yeah.
But he just makes kind of sort of useless
Yeah,
weapons.
But like there's
goo guns and like hot pepper pistols and things like
Yeah,
that.
right.
Like things that
kind
disable
of off the
people.
wall, non-lethal things, and they're like, "Oh, non-lethal, we don't need this stuff."
Yeah,
And
but everyone kind of gets their own thing. Don't they? Doesn't like he get like a non-lethal shovel, like, and then Mr. Furious gets like some sort of like gloves or something. Don't they each get like a special?
I know they get at
Item
least
that's,
like
like,
a couple
for
things
them.
from him,
Yeah.
which do come in handy.
they get
Yeah.
like a really powerful magnet. They get like a gun. It's called the blame thrower, and it just makes people argue.
And is he also the one that outfits the war wagon?
Yeah. I
Okay.
think they
Because
take
they
that
go to a
him.
junkyard, and there's this awesome like
The
whole
mystery machine,
bus, yeah.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle van kind of thing.
Yes.
And they turn it into like this tank that they basically use to storm the castle with. And so he outfits that too, and that is a big help for them.
Yeah.
Lets them get in. And so when they storm the castle, after they do their training thing, is there a big fight and they fall apart before they go?
So yeah, there's a moment which we kind of have to go back a little bit.
Yeah.
Because after they all, I think the 6 of them, get together and they decide that they're gonna go like cause some mischief to Casanova Frankenstein. So they like stop his limo and like basically like jump on the
Oh, yeah,
hood
they
and
just,
like
like,
smash
smash
the
it,
window,
yeah.
smash the doors, and they go out to celebrate afterwards. And they all get drunk. And when they come out, the Disco Boys are there, and they're gonna kill them.
Yeah, they're gonna just straight up kill
guns
them.
and
Oh,
pointed
wow.
at them, like ready to shoot them.
Yep.
And that's when the Sphinx shows up.
Oh, okay.
Also, another hero that can actually like be effective in a
Yeah,
fight.
so one of his, like, when they talk about him earlier, they're describing, like, he's very mysterious, and he can, like, cut guns in half with his mind. And he's very mysterious.
Very mysterious.
his mystery is only exceeded by his power.
Yes. And so, he, like, all the Disco Boys are lined up ready to shoot the Mystery Men, and all their guns just slice in half.
Okay.
And that's when the Sphinx shows up. And he's like, I will be your mentor.
Yeah, and they go into the woods and have like a really weird training montage of
Yep.
each of them doing
Yeah.
something.
Yes.
But Mr. Furious ends up like not believing in it.
Yeah,
and
he
just kind
doesn't
of like
see how
storms
this
off on his
training is
own.
going to help any of them.
And this part like really bugged me when I saw it. It's like, why is he just being mean for no reason and like not going along?
I feel like he
Just to
always kind
have
of
conflict
wants
with the group.
Yeah, he wants to be like in control of the group all the time. He wants to be
Yes.
the leader.
Yeah.
he wants to be in
guy.
charge, but he's also aware that like everyone is sort of effective at what they do. Like the shoveler is actually really good at using his shovel, and the guy throws silverware really well. And he's sort of, while he is the leader, is aware that he doesn't actually have a power
Right.
or a skill. Like he always is like, oh, I'm gonna get raged, and that never really actually happens. So it's always something he just yells that he's going to do.
And
So
you
I
kind
think
of see that too at the limo when they're like
Yes,
smashing the limo.
yeah.
He's not really doing anything. He's just like an average guy, just like beating up a
Yeah.
car.
Yeah.
So I think part of it is that he's worried that everyone else is going to realize this, and
Yeah.
he will be essentially out of the group because he can't really do anything.
Yeah, but the Sphinx tries to like get him to find his rage, to like really, really channel it. I think. Like I don't know if that's just placating
I
him.
think
or
by
if he
the end
does
of the
have that or not,
sequence,
but-
though, like of that scene, I feel like he does kind of start to give in to.
Well, I know he
Sphinx
over the
and-
course of the rest of this film, he had also been trying to date that waitress more, and like he actually goes on a date with her, and it goes okay.
Not really.
I just remember him. I just remember the scene where he drops her off.
Yeah, so he goes to the diner after he like storms off from this. He's
Doesn't
like,
he just like kind of walk her home?
Yeah.
after
Yes,
a shift?
okay,
It's
yeah,
not really a
that's right.
date.
You're right.
And then like she asked him what's his name.
Well, that's not a good start.
And so he's like, oh, my name? I was like, I can't just tell you my name. It's
I'm a
secret
hero,
identity.
yeah.
I'm a superhero. And she's like, just tell me your name. And he's like, my name's Phoenix. Dark. Dirk. Phoenix. Dark Dirk.
Yeah, so it made me makes up, and it's terrible. And she's like, "Really, your name is Phoenix Dark Dirk."
Yes, which
Okay, yeah, I got a question for you.
Cool, kick it.
What's your name?
Wait, do you mean my secret identity? Because I couldn't.
No, I just, mean your name.
My name. Wow. Okay, it's Phoenix. Phoenix Dark. Dirk. Phoenix Dark Dirk. It was, I was christened Dirk Steele, and I changed to Phoenix.
Forget about it. It's okay.
is a great segue into my little anecdote. Because we were at a LAN party one time. And, like, everybody comes up with their own screen names or whatever. And I chose to be Phoenix Dark Dirk.
And I was like, the only place you'd expect someone to maybe get this reference is the Gathering of Nerds, and still no one knew what this was from. And every time that people read it, like if he was in a tournament or something, they would say it just like he did when he said the name of the first time in the movie, where they're like Phoenix Dark Dirk.
I'm like, nobody in
And
this
he was so
convention of nerds.
frustrated that no one was laughing at his hilarious
I
joke.
think that's probably because this movie didn't do very well.
No.
No one
classic.
has watched this movie.
This is a classic
I saw this
movie.
in theaters the opening weekend, and like me and like 3 other people were in the theater at the time.
Oh,
it was
man.
so
It's
empty.
A classic movie.
I know you love this movie so much, and
do.
very few people have actually even seen it.
Yeah, it's a little too ahead of its time.
It was
and,
way ahead of
and it's
its
also like kind of a send up of the Schumacher Batmans that were coming out at the time,
Yeah.
which like it just wasn't quite at that mark yet where
Yeah.
that was
Plus, I feel like it,
fun to watch being
Yeah.
lampooned or whatever.
it came out like maybe a couple years after it should have, if it was like doing a send up of the Joel Schumacher stuff. It should have come out like maybe a couple years before, and it would have done better. I feel.
Yeah, the tone's kind of confusing and all over the place as well.
Yeah.
Not as funny as, Zoolander, but not as serious or creepy as Cable Guy.
Yeah,
Kinda just
Very
like-
true.
Is this directed by Ben Stiller? Does anybody
I
know
have
that?
no idea.
Not sure.
No idea. That's a good question, though.
Okay, we'll look into
Write
that.
it down.
Yeah.
We'll come back to that.
For sure, the casting is what really sets this movie apart. I think.
Yes.
From
It has a very strong cast.
Everyone in this
Really
movie is
good.
really funny, really good, and
but just no one seems like they know what they're doing because the tone's all over. the
yes,
place.
that's true.
They're fighting a disco king. It's like, why is this happening? We'll just go with it. Whatever.
He's just the villain of that city.
Mhm.
Well, I think the idea is that he's been in prison since disco was big, so he
Yeah,
got out.
that makes sense.
And that's when they're like, you should really update. Like, I think that's even a joke at some point. Like, the
disco is
boys.
dead, and then they kill
Right.
him or trap him or something.
Oh, maybe. But so after this whole thing with the waitress, does that when he goes back? Like, does she inspire him to go back to the group?
She actually causes a serious conflict of identity with him.
Okay.
Because after he gives her the Phoenix Dark Dirk, she's like, oh, whatever, never mind. And like just goes to walk off, and he's like, my name's Roy. And then he's like, oh my God, I don't have any powers.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So he
He
finally
admits to himself.
opens up.
Yeah, he
about
finally
it.
admits
Yep.
to himself that he is not a superhero.
No matter how much he wants to. Be.
Yeah.
But the group wants him back as Mr. Furious. Right?
Yes. Well, they don't. They also don't realize that he's not a superhero. I don't think he even tells them really.
He kind of brings it up to them.
Like, I know the mysterious guy knows because he kind of gives him like a look. I know you kind of don't, but you have the rage in you anyway. I think.
Yeah, something like that. And
But they want him back for the final assault.
But yes,
on the
but they
castle.
do consider him their leader regardless.
well, it's the friendship that William H. Macy and I cannot remember
Blue Rouge?
Yeah,
Hank Azaria?
Hank Azaria.
Hank Azaria.
They're friends, and so those two really want him back because they're buddies and they've been doing this for a long time. And
Yes.
the other people are like, we don't care about him at all.
Right. Yeah. 'Cause they're
Janine
weird.
Garofalo is like, we are better without him,
Mhm, yeah, which is probably true.
which is probably
Yeah.
true.
So on the final assault, everyone has like new outfits and like the
They
best
made
kind of
their own
equipment.
costumes.
Everyone's like outfitted to really go for it.
Yeah. And is Ben Stiller back yet, or does he show up once they start the fight?
He goes with them,
Okay.
and
But he's not furious anymore.
he's
Yeah.
just
Very
depressed.
calm.
He's
Yeah.
just depressed, and so they try to insult him into being furious again. Mm-hmm. And he just is like, yeah, you're right. And the insults that they throw at him are just so not insulting. And he's like, oh, whatever.
Yeah, I
like-
mean, you've got a point.
One of them, the Sphinx tells him that he dresses in the manner of a male prostitute.
So he's depressed. He's lost all of his motivation to be a superhero. What kind of brings him back?
I think the group gets like beat up. Like they start losing the fight, and they need him really badly. And,
Well, what-
and, like, the rage starts building in.
All
again.
of the people kind of have their moment where they
Yes. They use their power.
and it's successful and they're helping and they're good as a group and they realize that they're very strong together. Ben Stiller is still depressed until he finds out that Casanova Frankenstein has kidnapped this waitress
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Whoa, here we go.
and
That's motivation.
is like threatening to kill her or something. And it's like, I'm not exactly sure why she showed up, why she was brought there. She doesn't, like, they barely know each other. Ben Stiller has a thing for her.
Maybe Casanova Frankenstein has like a thing for like wanting a fight as well. Like he wants the
That
best
could be. And
competition.
and so yeah, these guys are like the new thing since
Since Captain Awesome died.
yeah, he got vaporized. So they're like, well, I mean, the villain thing to do is to kidnap the girlfriend, and
I could be wrong, but I also think that he's mad at them for taking away that pleasure of killing Captain Awesome from
that
him.
could be.
Possibly.
Because he was
Yeah.
planning on making a big spectacle because he gets a bunch of the evil groups
Oh yeah,
together.
he gets all like the super villains from all over together to basically have this big like, hey, guess what I'm gonna do?
Yeah. And then
Oh yeah, there's like an evil villain round table, right?
Yes.
A bunch of also like
with
villains
some
with gimmicks.
with some noted cameos in there too.
Just like the tryouts, I'm sure that the villains
Yeah.
have plenty of
Um,
Kind
cameos
of
in there.
like a James Bond Spectre situation.
right. Yeah.
yeah.
So at what point does Kel actually turn invisible? Because I know that happens.
They
He's like
have
set
to
an
get
alarm off or a
through-
jewel or something.
They have to get through like a door.
Yeah.
That
It's
has
his only big moment.
I don't know
in
if
the
it was
film.
like they have a turret or something that was going to shoot anyone that goes through there. So it's like no one can get
motion
in.
censored.
Yeah,
or
and
something.
he has to get someone has to get through to turn them off. And he's like, "Well, I'll just turn invisible, and they won't even know."
And everyone's like, "That's not gonna work."
because they
can't
still,
turn
they don't
invisible."
actually believe that he can turn invisible.
Right. But then they have the belief, and then he does it.
Yes.
Yep.
He actually does turn invisible, gets through and turns them off.
Yep. And he's naked. And he's like, I'm invisible. Can you see me? And they're like, yeah, we can see you.
Because they looked at him.
And they looked at him, and he was naked.
How does Casanova Frankenstein ultimately get bested? Who does Mr. Furious beat him up? Does the shoveler get him?
Man, I don't actually
does he get it?
remember. Oh,
Get him disabled or taken out?
I think that what happens is, so like the machine that killed Captain Awesome, he's gonna turn that on the city and like kill
Oh, boy.
everybody in the city.
Oh, okay.
And so somehow, there's a fight, and Mr. Furious can't use the stairs because they're like electrified, and so the Blue Raja throws forks into the wall, and he has
Oh,
to
that's
climb
right.
up the forks,
Pretty sweet.
and then he
Tag team move.
he finally finds his rage because Casanova Frankenstein's threatening to kill his
girl.
girl that he wants to
Yeah.
date, but
Yeah.
it's
Hasn't
kind of
even
complicated
dated
because
yet.
they don't really have a thing, but they want to have a thing, and he likes her, and she's kind of, I don't know. And
Does Janine Garofalo's bowling ball get broken or something like that? Doesn't that happen? And she's really upset about, like, her dad like commits like one final thing, and it ends up like saving the day, but it ends up killing.
Yeah, I
her
remember
dad
her.
at the
Yeah,
same
basically
time.
being. She like talks to him, basically saying like, "I need you like this one time. Like this
Yeah.
will like fulfill your fatherly duties of protecting your daughter. I just need you to do this thing."
Yeah, she ends up losing the
so
ball.
so yeah,
somehow.
that's towards the end. So I somehow Casanova Frankenstein gets thrown into this pit that this thing is like warming up, and he basically dies the same way that Captain Awesome dies, and then they have to like shut this thing down.
Because it's still gonna take out the
Yeah,
city.
it's still gonna kill everybody. And so one of the things that they had learned from the Sphinx that Mr. Furious thought was stupid was just having a group hug. It was one of their big things. It's just everybody get together and just
That sounds
hug.
dumb.
Just
That's
big,
right.
big group hug. And so going back to the theme of acceptance and friendship and togetherness, Mr. Furious, as they're trying to figure out how to stop this thing, he yells out group hug, and they're all like, yeah, group hug time. And they get together and they shuffle over to the pit and drop the bowling ball in, and the bowling ball flies down and knocks everything and
breaks
busts
it
everything
all.
up.
That's right. So it basically just breaks everything that would make the ray gun work.
Yep. And that's how
And they save the city.
bowling ball
Pretty
saves the
sweet.
day.
What does the spleen do to save the day? Does he just fart really loud at
I
some
think
point?
that's when the big group fight. He like farts and all the bad guys like can't even fight because they're busy.
They pass out.
choking.
They're
Yeah,
like distracted.
They pass out from
the fumes.
from the fumes.
Can he control the farts at some point and
He-
like direct them?
There's a point where when he's displaying his powers to the group, he like licks his finger and puts it up in the air, and he's like, all right, there's a slight air current, and he's like, 3 people 20 yards away, and he's like, pull my finger.
So does he have to have someone else pull his finger every time?
I think
He
so.
needs like a
maybe.
He needs like a
he,
sidekick.
he needs finger pull boy.
He can't pull his own finger.
Oh
can't-
boy.
Yeah.
And so after they beat him, they leave, and as they're leaving, is like all the news and police are right there, and that's when they're interviewing like Ben Stiller, and they're like, "Oh, who are all you guys?" And that's when they have to like figure out a name, and I think they say like, "Who are you, mystery men?"
Yeah, something like that at the end.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're like, someone's like, I got it. We're the Super Squad. and like, they're like, no, that's dumb. And then they keep squabbling. But
Yeah, they keep fighting
are.
about it, and that's
I don't actually know this, but is the Mystery Men like? Was it a comic book?
Nope,
Was it
just for this movie.
just for so it's not.
Written
Brad
down
was
for
ready
the
with
film.
that one. He's
Yeah, and it should come out again. I mean, with the glut of superhero movies, there's not like a nice parody spoofy superhero thing out.
Yeah.
Well, they tried to with like Ant-Man, which
Well, it's still a
Well,
real,
that's still
real
in the
movie.
Marvel
It's
yeah,
still a
universe.
genuine
I mean,
film. There's no Mystery Men version, like knockoff superhero.
And I
Like
feel
an
like
Avengers type thing.
And I don't
Yeah.
know if this is accurate or
Completely
not, but
made
I
up.
feel like Mystery Men was before like the string of like Ben Stiller comedies that came out that were like hits.
You mean
after
Meet the
hit.
Parents? Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. No, Meet the Parents 3.
And,
Just that one.
There's something about Mary.
Yeah, I think he
and
made
so-
Zoolander as well.
Does
I mean,
anybody know when this movie was made?
96, I would guess.
96.
I think
mean-
99.
After like Dodgeball and
When did Smash Mouth come out?
That's a good question. I
That's
guess
the
that,
real
that would
question.
narrow it down a little
That
more.
would. It
I
would,
think
yeah.
it was high school, so 99 is probably a little bit
Yeah,
better.
this is like 99, 2000.
yeah,
Okay.
right on the cusp of the millennium.
The
But
millennium.
I think this movie would sell pretty well now if they had a similar kind of film come out.
Who would be in this new Mystery Men movie?
I don't know. All these actors are like became so big.
They did.
Like,
So
in
you'd
their
have to
own
get,
right,
like-
one or the other.
Would you get
was
like
hot.
big people right now, or people that
You would
are
have
on
to.
the cusp?
I
of
think you get on
becoming-
like cusp struggling comedians. that
Yeah,
are just,
like some
having,
SNL cast members.
Yeah,
and
that's a good bet. Like Comedy
Yeah.
Central presents
Yeah.
comedians.
you can see that. And Dane Cook again.
Sure.
Get like
You can be-
T.J. Miller would be in there somewhere.
Yeah, I think that would be a good one. Josh Gad or something
Yeah.
like that too.
Eliza
like-
Scheislinger. I don't know.
Would
how to
like
say her
Jeff
name.
Ross
She's
be
good.
thrown in there?
Maybe as
Jeff Ross
the
could play
mentor or
Casanova
something.
Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Like Casanova
Some
Frankenstein.
sort of evil villain of some kind.
He's just mean. He doesn't have any other powers. He's just
Just
mean.
makes fun of people all the time.
But I think that's pretty much the movie.
Yeah. That's,
Yeah.
that's
Any other final thoughts before we go watch it?
just keep an open mind. You know, this movie was ahead of its time, and the time is now.
I think there's some rough spots in the movie that just,
It was-
just slow it down.
Brad's
There's some-
ready to not
do
like
you
this
guys
film.
have any predictions for how you're gonna feel about this movie?
Not at all. But I know it's very dark and shadowy. I know that's and like the colors are very.
I remember enjoying it the last time I saw it, and
contrasting.
so I'm assuming I'm going to enjoy it this time. But I barely remember the last time I saw it, so who knows?
Yeah, it's been a long time. I don't remember really any of this movie, but I remember when I did watch it, I liked it, but I was a kid, so we'll see. But you said it was ahead of its time.
And
I bet I bet it was a little bit ahead of its time, but now it's way behind today's time.
I'm still gonna get bummed out when Ben Stiller leaves the group. I'm just like, stay with the group, Ben
like, no,
Stiller.
why are you
You're gonna end up with them anyway. What are you doing?
He's gonna have some problems
Terrible.
though. He has to have some character
There has to be.
development.
The best part about this movie for you guys is that you're going to get to watch it through my eyes.
You're gonna
That's
make
true.
us watch it through
Oh
your
my!
eyes.
Oh
This is
my
not an
Lord.
option.
Give us your eyeballs right now. Ooh, thanks. Wow, so squishy.
I'm gonna need that back, by the way.
Oh, okay. Here you go.
That's all squished.
Sorry.
This is usable.
I didn't know you wanted it back.
What? You broke my eye.
Okay, so join us in part 2. We're gonna watch Mystery Men and tell you what we got right, what we got right, what we got wrong.
So we got Raj.
There it is. Please take the time at some point to rate and review us on iTunes. Find us on Twitter at WhatRemember, Facebook.com/WhatRemember, or email us whatrememberpodcast@gmail.com.
For when you care for what is outside, what is inside cares for you.
You know, the clock is ticking here. Are we gonna sew dresses all day, or are we gonna rescue Amazing? I need a thimble. Anybody?
Patience, my son. To summon your power for the conflict to come, you must first have power over that which conflicts you.
Okay, am I the only one who finds these sayings just a little bit formulaic? If you want to push something down, you have to pull it up. If you want to go left, you have to go right.
Your temper is very quick, my friend. But until you learn to master your rage...
Your rage will become your master? That's what you were gonna say, right? Right?
Not necessarily.
Welcome back to the What Remember podcast, or should we forget in order to remember what happened in the podcast?
Wow.
That's heavy.
Must we forget?
That is deep.
Because that's what that guy
That's
kept
what
saying.
the Sphinx.
That's what the Sphinx guy kept doing. He kept on just saying
You have
the
to
opposite of
forget
what
to
the first thing
remember.
was.
You want to go left, you got to go right.
It doesn't mean anything, Sphinx. Mr. Sphinxter.
He joined the Mystery Men too.
Yeah, he was part of
He
the
did, yeah.
team. He didn't do much, though, other than breaking those
He
guns
was
in half. He
terribly
didn't help very
mysterious,
much.
though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he cut
You
those
think so?
guns in the beginning and then like did nothing else except I guess he trained them a little bit.
He was their mentor.
Yeah, he trained them and then he didn't
But he had the
really
power
fight with
to
them.
slice guns in half.
I think he should have died. It would
And
have
then he
added
did
more
nothing.
stakes to it. He should have got kidnapped
That
or
was your
killed
prediction was that he died
by
in
Mr.
the final
Frankenstein.
fight, but you were wrong.
I am wrong. I was wrong about a
It
couple
would've made
things.
sense, though.
It would've made
It
sense,
is
yeah.
a Dark Horse comic that this is based off of.
Yeah, apparently.
I'm guessing by the same name. I just never had heard it before, and I guess
No.
I don't know if the series is done or was a one-off issue or what.
I looked up a little bit of the Wikipedia, and it was very loosely based off of the comic
Oh, okay.
from Dark Horse. But
Is it called The Unknown Member or something? It's like
the one that it linked to was like something about a carrot man.
Carrot Top?
Carrot Top got his own superhero.
So you read Carrot Top's Wikipedia page?
I
it
feel
was
like that's why it didn't relate to this movie.
Surprisingly dark.
Oh.
Surprisingly dark.
Was he the prop master on Mystery Men? So
I want to know, did you guys love that movie as much as I love that movie?
I think
Not
what I
really.
loved was watching you watch the
Yeah.
movie. You were
You
lit
really
up
liked
like
it.
a kid at Christmas.
you liked it a lot.
I'll say I did enjoy it. I liked it.
It is.
Glad.
I feel like this movie the way I did about
Schmidt. About Schmidt.
The Jack Nicholson?
no, Dude, Where's My Car?
Oh,
where it
okay.
started out and I was
Oh,
just like,
God.
oh boy, this
That movie
movie.
is
And then like
not
halfway through
good.
I was like, okay, this movie's hilarious.
I feel like that Dude, Where's My Car gets a bad rap, but it is a good.
It's a movie where, yeah, like once you get used to, like you have to like go in and be ready for it to be like overly campy, and then
Yeah.
once you just enjoy the film, you enjoy the film.
This movie really wants you to commit to it though. Like the idea of it, the look of the film is kind of distracting.
Oh my
The entire
gosh.
time of the close-ups
I don't understand
and the
these
camera movements
shots at all.
and the lighting and that scene where they just decided not to use microphones.
I wish
There's just some like weird technical things happening
I
in this
wish
film.
Ben Stiller had directed this film because I don't know what was going on, but all the POV shots, like the weird microphone scene where they didn't even bother ADR, even though it was terrible.
They build all these really great practical sets and then just shoot everybody close up with a prime lens.
Oh my god!
Some of those
some
POV
reason.
shots could have been really effective, but they
could've
just
been-
used so many
yeah,
of
they
them
could have
that
been
they
really good
desensitize
over the
you.
shoulder shots, and it ruins the moment. Like the very first time, the Blue Raj is talking with his mom, and she like tries to come in the door, and she's like, "What's that smell?" And he's like, "It's just incense, Mom." And they have a really funny dialogue, and it's just lost because instead of over the shoulders, it's POVs in their conversation. And I'm like, this doesn't make any sense.
It's very distracting. I don't
Oh
understand.
man, I did not care for the.
It's a way to shoot like all the actors separately, I guess. Maybe they were trying to do something for like scheduling.
half of this movie was like all reshoots.
But there were
and
obvious
stuff.
scenes where everyone was there, and they just chose to shoot the close-up shots
I
of
don't
people
know.
when you
Yeah.
get that many
and the
stars,
Dutch angles of things.
they can't all be there at the same time, so they have to do the POV shots. Like there was a creative workaround. I applaud the director.
Yeah.
Maybe.
That was distracting.
I also didn't remember the whole city being kind of like
They live
Tim
in the
Burton's-
Blade Runner movie.
Yeah,
They really do.
yeah.
There's all sort of different languages on neon signs.
Everything's a different
and-
language in this.
Yeah. Several characters speak different languages at random points in the film.
They all frequently will like use foreign phrases all the time. Like it's normal.
Yeah, it's just
Right.
a very like bilingual world.
I think the idea is it's supposed to be like one giant metropolis.
Yeah.
But
It
there's
was
also
cool looking.
There's also
It
like
was.
the Native American guy is from like the southern part of wherever where there is other
Yeah,
crime.
They say he's from
So
down
there's-
south.
So there's other cities like this one.
Yeah.
And they're all just obsessed with superheroes,
Champion.
I guess.
Was it Champion?
Champion City. Yeah.
It's like Pokemon, but superheroes.
Are
Where the
you-
whole world is just based around one concept, right?
Are they?
Yeah, I
Are
guess.
Pokemon not superheroes?
Well, it's arguable.
Because I feel like they are.
Yeah, I guess so because they have powers.
Yeah, they sure do.
Yeah, in a way.
Although a skunk has a power, kind of.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
How about that scene in the film that needed to be
Yeah.
there?
That was horrible.
The Spleen and the Invisible Boy are spying on the Casanova mansion. And for some reason, a skunk crawls out of
Comes out
the
of nowhere.
bushes and starts humping his leg.
That scene only exists to later set up when the Spleen is running away from the evil machine, and instead of calling it the Psychofractor,
The
he just yells
Skunkinator.
at the Funky Skunker or something.
Funky Skunkulator.
I think that is the sole
Skunkulator,
reason
yeah.
that scene exists, is so that he can make a skunk reference later, and it needs to
I
connect.
feel like he could have made that skunk reference
Yeah,
without
Absolutely
that.
could have. Or maybe that was
Yeah.
the original scene, and the director was like, I got an idea after hearing him say that.
We have to keep the scene in there.
What
It
if-
sets up the joke.
Guys, what if a skunk comes up and humps his leg?
And then
Why
have
are we
a-
going to shoot that?
Yeah, and then we have a
No one said
giant
that?
moon. Well, a moon that's enormous.
Very romantic.
Put the skunk next to him.
It's definitely like a B-roll day, and they were just like, all right, there's a gap in between this scene and that scene, and we need a lull. We need to kind of slow down for a moment.
Who's got any ideas?
Yeah.
Well, my guy smells skunk smell. Have a skunk hump me.
Done. Let's shoot it.
And they did.
We're burning nighttime.
It happened. A few other people we didn't get that were in this. Clara Forlini plays the waitress. She's a very great actress. CeeLo Green shows up in a cameo.
CeeLo.
Michael Bay
CeeLo.
shows up in a
Michael
cameo.
Bay, so the frat boys. Yeah, we didn't mention that there's like a bunch of different gangs, like warriors
Yeah,
style.
I thought there were individual villains, but there's just groups of
yeah,
people.
they're like gangs in the city that
They're
like,
very ineffective too, as
yeah.
gangs together.
You take their guns away and they're just useless. They just run for the hills.
Yeah,
Even though they outnumber the mystery men 3-1.
at least. Yeah,
Mhm. They just give up on
They're like-
fighting.
They
them.
all,
they're like, let's split up and then fight independently, and then we're all done.
Just be bad.
yeah, they split up into their gangs and fight the groups like in their specific gang instead of like as like a whole group. It
Yep.
doesn't make any sense.
makes
They
no
could've
sense.
Just,
It makes no sense.
They all
could've
leave
just
into
swarmed 'em.
They all leave into a room for safety, and then they're immediately out of that room again and just wandering the mansion.
They're like,
and
Yeah,
move
different
to the
spots.
next room for
They-
safety. They're
well,
almost here.
See, they said move to the next room, but then they went back to the first room and had
They did.
the jitney battle wagon.
What'd you keep
Don't
calling it?
act like you don't know what it's
Herkimer
called.
Battle Jitney.
Thank you.
It's the Herkimer Battle Jitney. It's the coolest car.
It is.
Yeah, I would have liked to have seen them go through like different levels. Like, oh, they have to conquer this door, then this door. And each power kind of helps you do this one thing,
Right.
which they sort of
They
did.
sorta
by,
did it, but they
just
I feel like they
pulled back on it.
They built like the main room set and the next room, and then they were like, "We need this other room. It's in the script." And they were like,
We spent all the
Let's
money.
just use that first set
We
again.
spent
Let's
all
go back
of the
over
money.
there.
Did you see that city? we
was
have
enormous.
no
"Look,
dollars.
we need more budget for our close-up camera shots, and we don't have the money to build that set."
Why are
because-
we building all these sets if we're just shooting everyone in a close-up? Can I raise my hand and ask the director that question?
You're fired.
Maybe that's why they did the close up, because they didn't have the set to be able to shoot that.
They only built like just that.
Everyone else is on green
It's like
screen.
a poster board behind someone in a close up of the things in the scene.
Oh man, but yeah, when you accept that the movie is like just super campy, very much making fun of like Batman and Robin.
I don't think it went far enough in doing that, though.
I don't know.
It still tried to be a superhero film. It didn't
Yeah,
really poke fun in the right ways to make that case for me.
but I did enjoy the film, unlike Brad.
Yeah. It's just right in the middle, you know.
Yeah.
It's just a middle of the road.
It's not
comedy film.
fantastic. It's not terrible.
This is a film where we talked in the first half about could this film do better today, and I think yes, if only because someone else would direct this film. I think
You really are getting hung up on the close-ups.
They're
it
just
distracting.
And the
distracts
POV
from
shots.
the whole movie. I think this film could have been a lot better if it had been shot normally instead.
I feel like it adds character to the movie.
It makes it distinctive, but not for the better.
But I definitely think this is a film that if you reworked it and shot it today could work.
Yeah,
Like I said,
don't
especially
even-
with the glut of superhero films we do have.
I don't even think it's like the close-ups. I think a lot there are decent jokes in there, but a lot of them don't really land all the time.
Yeah,
It's-
I agree.
Okay.
It's kind of like they throw them out there and they're like, well, whatever. If someone likes it, they'll like it.
Yeah, they just
I
whatever
think that's where it's like kind of weak at times.
whatever
But
CG comedy joke, whatever thing they cooked up, whatever improvised line an actor wanted to say, they just shot it
Yeah.
and kept some, tossed some. And
I do think a lot of the cast is what carries this movie. Like Ben Stiller does a really good job. William H. Macy is fantastic.
Of course he is.
Hank Azaria is pretty good. I mean, I feel like they managed to like salvage some things that could have been rough, but
yeah,
I don't know. I enjoy the film. It's a very fun, campy film, but it's not a movie I would frequently watch, unlike some people.
Yeah, I think I would just expect I would expect better from some of the actors too, but I mean it was right around the time where everyone was on the cusp.
It's
of
certainly
breaking
not a
out,
film
so.
I'd want to advertise that I watch a lot, like by creating some sort of
What
screen
film
name.
would you advertise that you watch a
Yeah,
lot?
please tell me.
Because I just watched Tremors last week, and you should definitely just keep watching that film. That film's really good.
Tremors is timeless.
That's bacon at his baconiest.
Tremors is
I have
timeless.
not seen Tremors.
Oh boy.
Oh, is that on that list of movies we've seen that he has?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh man,
Tremors is so good.
I almost I kind of wish that there was just more like dirty humor or something like that in this movie. It all seems very, at times it seems safe and
Yes,
like
they do.
They say crap.
It very much feels like they were pushing hard for PG.
It is very PG.
William H. Macy drops a S-bomb when something's about to go wrong.
Yeah, I think that's the one.
Yeah.
Even remote swear
If
word.
they had just hit R or hard rating with this, maybe it would have been an entirely
Yeah, I
different
think
movie.
actually that would have made a big difference.
Because they kept showing like mannequin boobs.
Yeah.
And
Which
just
was
boobs on
strange.
statues
It's like it was like
In
they
POV.
really wanted
Right.
to have regular nudity, and they're like, we know we can't, so this is the closest
Yeah.
we can.
It's like the
Mannequin
Deadpool of
nudity.
1996 or
Yeah.
whatever. 1999.
Yeah.
I think that would make a big difference. But I mean, overall, we were pretty good in terms of fleshing
Get
out the
things
film.
right, yeah.
Yeah.
I was trying to think if there was any glaring things.
Anything any
missed,
big
but
bits
not,
we missed
not
or
really.
anything.
No, my encyclopedic knowledge of this movie really came into play here.
William H. Macy having
Oh,
a wife that cheats on him.
yeah, that is
Probably.
one thing I wanted to bring up.
I don't think that. I don't think
None
she
of those
cheated
kids
on
look
him.
like William H. Macy.
They don't, and I feel like William H. Macy is a great guy, and his wife is just the worst.
Yeah, until the end when
Why?
she understands.
I
but-
don't know.
Why?
She's clearly supported his dream of being the shoveler for, she says, like 10 years he's
Right.
been doing
I mean,
this.
you got to put up for a lot for this thing.
After 10 years, you're like, okay, come on, guy, like, hang it up. I understand.
Really?
I understand her perspective.
Maybe because you're dead inside.
At the same time, I think William H. Macy's amazing, and I was appalled that she told him to hang it up. I was like, the man is good at what he does.
He shovels well,
He shovels well.
but the whole
I don't
movie,
think he did.
I
just
didn't
because
see
he
him
never
shovel
moved
at
dirt,
all.
but he
That's
could
true, you don't-
hit people with a shovel.
I guess that's called shoveling still, even though it's not using a shovel for shoveling.
Right. I mean, it's his
I
weapon.
guess shoveling
I
is
mean,
whatever you
okay,
do with a shovel.
in like the dynamics of a relationship and a marriage and being in a family, it sounded like he didn't have a job at all.
It did sound like
He's
that.
a shoveler,
So
guys.
10 years of that, she is justified.
Maybe he dug that pool in the backyard, and that's what he does. He digs pools.
Yeah, he's a pool digger.
Pool digger.
Maybe he works in a cemetery.
Mr. Furious worked
would be
at
a good job.
the junkyard.
Because he was good at breaking things.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Where did the other two have jobs?
The spleen worked at a poop factory. No, I don't know. Is that do they have poop factories? Do they still make those? Keenan or Kel, right?
Yeah.
He's just a kid, so
Yeah.
he's like going to school or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't remember
The Native American
the shoveler.
guy.
I don't remember the shoveler having a job or the.
Okay, so there was a scene where he had said...
Jimmy Garoppolo wants to go back to school.
Yeah.
He says
Yeah,
that
back to
bit.
graduate school.
There was a scene where like they were talking about setting up the auditions at his house, and I think he said like, "Oh, I got nothing to do" or something like that.
He's
It was like 10:30 or something like that, and like
That's
Yeah.
what he did specifically.
He was like,
say,
"I don't have
I've got
anything to
I've
do."
got nothing to do.
But they do make a mention that they're very short on cash because Mr. Furious wants $150
That's
from each
true,
person
and
to
he has
publicize
it
them.
because he's got a job, and yeah, the other two
other
were
two
like,
just are-
And he can afford steak at a diner.
well, because
Yeah.
they split it three
Three ways.
ways. And
Right.
then the man with the salad gets shafted.
Yeah, which is a straight up Friends joke that they ripped off, or vice versa. One or the other happened. But I like conversations that are just in the background like that. Those are good.
yeah, the movie's full of them, which I loved because
The banter,
like a
yeah, like just
superhero
some of that
movie, but
background
it's-
banter was really good.
Yeah, could have used a little more team ups. I think. So I like the powers when they were like connecting, like Kel hanging out with the spleen and
Yeah.
Raj helping out Mr. Furious, and I guess the shovel guy tried to do something with Mr. Furious, where like made like a seesaw catapult.
Yeah,
thing where he
catapult
threw him
with
on
his
a
hat,
threw
yeah.
him on a car.
he threw him on a car and then he just proceeded to jump on the car.
He had a
That's so
tantrum on
good.
top
Yeah,
of that
he
car.
did.
He did.
Tantrum.
They destroy that car,
They really do.
and they just get away with it. I think
But
they're,
Jeffrey Ruster was like laughing at
Yeah.
the vehicle as it was destroyed.
they're the villains in that scene. They just destroy that car and get away
Roll
with
up
it.
to a car and just bust it up.
And Blue
yeah.
Raja puts like a little extra cherry on top where he just rubs the fork across the whole car. It's like it's already busted up. What this is just your
Yeah.
personal vengeance
I
you're
think if
getting
it had
out.
been the side that the shoveler hadn't smashed in, I would have been like, okay, I get it. But it was the same side. Like, that side's already ruined. I don't know.
It's all he's got.
I don't know. He did a good job wedging those doors locked.
He's like, look, I'm helping, and then he's scratching the car.
It was a nice moment of success, though. They all kind of worked together and destroyed that car, and that was it. They
Yeah.
destroyed a car.
Street Fighter style.
But I think
destroyed that thing.
you all got to see the themes of the movie, which were acceptance, teamwork, friendship,
Honesty.
Honesty is the one you are missing.
honesty to oneself. That it doesn't matter who you are, what you do, just that you are true to yourself and don't let anybody tell you otherwise.
Are you describing Tu Wong Fu? Thanks for the memories, Julie Newmar? Because those are the same themes in that film, too.
It's a universal thing that everybody can relate
This is like
to.
a Jerry Springer final
This
thought.
is just the
This is final thoughts.
it's just the human journey. Okay.
So as do all American movies, it ends with an explosion of mass proportions.
Yep.
Because we can't ever watch a film that
Which,
doesn't do
of course,
that.
destroys the Herkimer battle jitney, which was a waste.
I agree.
That should have been their mystery
Maybe
machine.
it survived.
Maybe
It's
it
the
is
finest non-lethal weapon known to man.
It's true.
Were there talks of a sequel, I wonder? Would they wanted to do this again?
I had
Probably
to believe like
before
a
it
few of them were
came
like,
out.
so sequel, and then it released and no one went to see it, and they were like, well.
Yeah, well, I just didn't hit, whatever reason.
Yeah.
Were we already tired of
It
superhero
was
films?
ahead of its time.
I mean,
And
possibly.
simultaneously too old.
Can we?
and hasn't hit its time yet. Its time is still yet to come.
Can we talk about Jeffrey Rush's
Casanova Frankenstein finger?
his finger?
His finger? His cutty
Oh,
finger?
the giant finger?
His
the
cocaine
giant
finger?
Coke
His
finger
coke
that
finger?
also is a knife.
I love that finger POV shot.
Yeah.
That was
So there's a- yeah,
appropriate
They built
use
a
of the
giant
POV.
prosthetic finger to chase Ben Stiller for one shot of the film.
Yeah, this thing was like probably 4 or
It was
5.
It was a
amazing.
big one.
It was huge.
That was really
Like
good.
that's his weapon. Is
He's a coke.
having a
Yeah,
gross
he, like,
finger.
sharpens
Big old
the
coke
nails.
finger.
Yeah,
He used that to the best of his ability, though.
I agree.
I guess when you're facing people that are throwing forks, like you don't really have to have that much of a weapon.
I will say, if you were gonna get technical about it, it did seem that his power was very much that he's like an inventor. And when they turned on the magnet on the battle wagon, the metal things on his fingers, which hold a bunch of his gadgets, all got sucked off his fingers.
True.
So that's all he had left.
But they also say maybe he stole some ideas from people while he was in prison to
Yeah,
make like
but he
the
still would have
super
had to build it
destructible thing.
himself, right?
Well, I guess so.
I mean, he's got to have some technical knowledge.
Yeah.
We did it pretty quick. I mean, yeah, I guess so.
Mm-hmm. So he's got skills.
He's
But-
smart.
I mean, he managed to take out Captain Awesome
He's
or
got the
whatever.
skills to pay the kills
Ooh,
because he killed.
That was
people.
a
Lots of
Brad
people.
joke.
that was a Brad joke.
All right. Any final thoughts?
I think the entire recording that we have done tonight is my final thought for why
Okay.
this movie is amazing.
It's like your pitch to the world.
Yep.
And
I can
your-
see myself watching it again in like 5 years.
Yeah,
Oh.
I could
Yeah.
do that in 5 years.
Yeah.
Guys, let's make a pact here.
No,
and now
no, I'm not
All
part
right,
of
a
this.
blood pact?
to come back.
I'm not
5
part of this
years
pact.
All
from
right,
now.
I'm pulling out the knife right now.
We gotta do the finger.
The finger twitchies.
that they do.
I'm not part of it.
Come on,
I
Brad,
don't
get
wanna
in
do
there.
this.
All right,
Come on,
do it.
Brad.
We're gonna
No,
close it. We're gonna close it
Oh,
very
oh,
soon,
oh,
Brad.
Close them.
Brad.
I'm not in there.
Oh, it's closed now.
I don't want to watch this again.
Wow.
All right.
But I would
There
like to
it
see like a
was.
behind the scenes making of to see
Absolutely.
if
That would
people
be-
were
yeah.
happy like making the
Yeah,
film
if
or
this
if like,
was like
I-
a pleasant
or if,
set to
if
be
everyone
in.
knew like it was bad.
I
or
have a
something
feeling
was wrong.
that everyone was angry at each other the whole time.
Yeah, I don't know. This is definitely just like me projecting on this film, but it definitely does not seem like it would have been a happy production.
Were Janine Garofalo and Ben Stiller like dating at any point? Maybe they were like got a breakup
don't
when this
know.
movie was coming. Something was just like not connecting with. a lot
Maybe
of the
they just had
characters.
genuine chemistry because they're supposed to not like each other at first. So that they just are really, they have that, like, a lot of people have that sexual chemistry. They just have a lot of hateful chemistry.
Is that a thing?
What? That's not a thing.
It's all kinds of chemistries, guys. Look, I'm a professor.
But you're an actual chemistry professor. This is all like relationships and.
I don't claim to
You're
understand
not-
the world.
you're
I just
not-
live in it.
You're not Dr. Drew.
Or Dr. Dre.
Or Dr. J.
Ooh, Andy, let's go through the list of things Andy's
All the
not.
doctors I'm not.
Dr. Ruth. Okay, you are that one.
Yeah,
you
there
are
you go.
Do people know who Dr. Ruth is still? Is that joke? Yeah.
I mean,
I
I hope
feel
so.
like a lot of
Oh,
people
Dr.
wouldn't
Ruth, is
know.
she like the 80s like
She's
sex
like,
advice?
yeah, really
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that so?
Are you Dr. Ruth?
Are you not?
You do look like a tiny Jewish woman.
And on that
This
note,
is my deepest secret. You'll never. My name is really Phoenix. Dark. Dirk.
What was that? Your original name?
It was Dirk Steele. Changed it.
You changed it to Dirk Steele or from Dirk Steele? What did you change it from or to? What is his real last name other than Roy?
He doesn't give one. He's
We
just
got-
Roy.
He's Roy Steele Phoenix Dirk.
What if his
Steele
last
would've been
name
the thing
really
he
is
just went
Steele?
with.
Like it's Roy Steele, and
That's
so
a
it was
sweet
like
name.
it was like a truth but buried in a lie.
So do you believe he actually became furious at the end and he did have a superpower come out of him? Because I do. I believe it happened.
I want to believe.
I believe he
But
had
then
a
again,
superpower.
I watched the X Files, so
I don't
it's-
think it did.
All of them had superpowers at the end.
I like to think that he loved that girl that he barely knew so much that he was like a mother protecting her child and just got that rush of endorphins.
Yeah, I feel like it was probably just like an adrenaline rush, because like this girl.
That's his power. He can turn adrenaline rushes off and on.
I don't think that's
when
true.
there's severe- you should have done that way before that.
Well, he didn't want. He had to unlock it. His inner self.
He had to find himself to become himself.
Ooh, I like that. That was deep.
Yeah, you can't. You wait. You already did it. I was gonna say exactly what you said again, but you sphinxed him. I thought you didn't quite get the sphinx, but you did sphinx him.
You sphinxed it.
You sphinxed it real hard.
Oh boy.
It's the power of the sphinx.
All right, so we're all in agreement. 5 years. Brad committed.
I'm not in the commitment.
I didn't hear
All
that,
right, I
Brad.
did
Your
hear-
microphone's cutting out.
Yeah, I heard Brad. I'll vouch. I did hear Brad say.
I'm
I'll
the one
back up
editing this.
Andy.
I can not edit myself out. I will leave myself in this conversation.
Who let Brad do the post?
I can go back and edit in more of me not committing to this if I want to. Thanks for listening to this episode. Please be sure to subscribe to our podcast and join us next time when we watch a goofy movie.
Going somewhere, Pop? Sure are. It's a vacation with me and my best buddy. Donald Duck? No, silly. With you.
It's Goofy.
Give me a big
Stop goofing around. In an outrageous full-length animated feature.
We'll spend some real quality time together. I think I'm gonna be sick.
Walt Disney Pictures presents
Come on, this is gonna be fun.
the story of a father who couldn't be closer
That's the spirit, Maxie. God, this is embarrassing.
to driving his son crazy.
This is pathetic.
Now, they're getting a crash course in becoming best friends.
It's Bigfoot! Could you back up a bit, Mr. Foot? You're out of focus.
This spring, one of Disney's favorite classic characters lands at theaters in the most hilarious
It's the Leaning Tower of Cheesa.
and hippest animated musical comedy ever.
A little smoke.
A goofy movie.
Morning, son. Dad.
It's hard to be cool when your dad is goofy.
You look just like I did at your age. Please don't say that, Dad.